This was our Grand Circle adventure that we took in May of 2021. It took us a while to put together all the footage and edit it, and we're just now doing the voiceover a year and a half later. But yeah, this was an awesome trip. We took 14 days around the Grand Circle, and we're going to show you what we did. The trip was about 18 days long, really only 14 days of camping, because we stayed a couple days with a friend's house in Las Vegas. So we landed in Vegas, and then we went to Red Rock Canyon National Park, just a day trip there, and then we drove all the way to the Grand Canyons, which is like 500 miles or so, I think. Yeah, let's see how many miles. So like 225 miles, and then we went the next day. I think we were originally going to take 2 days, but we liked the friend's house so much we stayed longer. And then we drove, a total of 500 miles to Mesa Verde Campground. I think we only stayed there one day too. And then we went to Moab. We spent a couple days here in Moab. We went to, where'd we go? Arches.
Canyonlands, as well as enjoying the sand flats in that area.
Yeah, that place, I want to go back to Moab. I think out of everywhere, that's where I want to go back the most. Everything was awesome, but Moab was cool. So then we went further to, I guess that's Capitol Reef. I think that's Goblin Valley, which is a state park, but has these really cool things. You'll see them very soon.
Goblin Valley is a really cool area. We camped in Kodachrome, which is right next to Goblin Valley.
Yeah, which is also another state park.
Right. And that was on our way to Capitol Reef.
Right. So then we went to Capitol Reef. We kind of did one short hike and just kind of drove through it, which was cool. It was worth doing. And then we went to Bryce. Bryce we really liked. Yeah. Bryce was an awesome hikes. It was a nice campground. Had great
vistas.
Food.
Yeah.
A lot of amenities there.
Great souvenir shops too.
Yeah. We'll talk about it later, but a lot of these national parks did not have a lot of amenities, which we were a little surprised about, like hot showers and things. Which
right.
We thought
you
were
really are toughing it out in some of these places.
Right.
We found the state parks actually had somewhat better accommodations and facilities sometimes.
Right. And then our last stop was Zion National Park, which was some awesome hiking too. We got to do the Narrows with the kids. I got to do Angel's Landing by myself. In total, yeah, I think around like 1,500 miles we did in 14 days time, which is a lot of miles. It's like driving halfway across the country.
It was a lot of driving, but it was well worth it.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get to the footage. So we left out of Newark Airport. There's all the stuff we brought. So, we did have to check some things like our tent.
Camping gear, sleeping bags.
Right.
Those are bulky things.
Right. And we did end up renting a car once we landed in Las Vegas. I think my dad dropped us off at the airport. Here's us with the kids, only 3 kiddos at the time. I think, were you pregnant then with our 4th? I think you were.
I was.
Yeah, so we had our 4th on the way, but just 3 on this plane ride. And actually, we're about a week away from going to Japan. This is 2022. So this trip, was a year ago that we're kind of doing the voiceover now for it. But yeah, you can see the kids trying to get comfortable. Here's us after we landed in Las Vegas airport. And I think we had to take a shuttle to the actual rental car. I think we used Fox. They were like significantly cheaper.
Right.
Oh, and our first trip was to Red Rock Canyon. We really liked Red Rock.
It was
cool.
Beautiful. Great climbing, great bouldering. The kids had a blast. We had a blast climbing through there and just seeing all the magnificent colors in the rock formations.
And it wasn't far from the Las Vegas airport. And then once you got into the canyon, you can just like park and you're right there. You can just start hiking it. It's
right,
really cool.
Very easy and accessible for people with young children, or even those who have who can't go long distances. You can really enjoy this park.
Yeah. There's Kaylee. So we had her in the Ergo baby carrier most of the trip. That's how we were hiking. I had my water bag, Camelback.
Right, Camelback water bags are a great idea if you're doing little day hikes and have kids. It's a great way to keep hydrated without carrying big water bottles with you.
Yeah. Anyway, our kids really loved this place, and I would definitely go back. Valen and Alvin, I think they were 6 and 4 at the time, just jumping off of everything, climbing themselves. Yeah.
The terrain was like no other. It really feels almost like a Martian terrain. Just the rocks are truly red. Red Rock Canyon.
Yeah. So I think it's a great precursor to kind of that Grand Circle trip. Usually, I don't think Red Rock Canyon is included in most Grand Circle itineraries, but it's so close to the airport. I think it's worth going and checking out.
They have a great drive-through loop as well through this park, which we really enjoyed. I think it takes about 20 minutes, and you drive through the valley of the canyon, and it's really spectacular, all the points of interest along the way. We recommend that even if you don't have time for a hike, definitely do the driving loop.
Yeah, I think we spent about like 3 hours here. So like the day we landed, we just rushed over here, and I think we were staying at a friend's house that night. I think we ate dinner right before then. We went to a nice ramen shop in Henderson, Nevada, and then we went checked out their house. They let us stay in one of their bedrooms. Yeah, they had this cool sensory swing. We were thinking about getting one. We never picked one up. Yeah, the kids had a good time. Yeah, they had such a good time. Instead of going to the Grand Canyons next day as was scheduled, we ended up staying one more day to hang out with our buddies, and we had a good time. Yeah, I think next day we checked out this nice taco shop, also in Henderson. I think we took the kids to this nice like trampoline park, ball pit area. There's Kaylee. Yeah, I guess she was only 1 at the time, right?
Yeah.
She was only 1, having a good time.
Or 1.5.
Before we did our tenting adventure. Yeah, so in total, I think we did 14 days in tents, and never more than 2 days at a time in any one park, which was a bit chaotic. Honestly, I wish we had stayed like at least 2 days in every park.
Right, to set up and then pack up the next day, especially with so many littles, was a bit chaotic.
Yeah, so here we finally arrived at Grand Canyon. That's our campsite. I think we arrived at night, so you don't have any footage of us setting up. But I think, we got some cool views of elk. When we woke up in the morning, there was elk and horses around. Oh yeah, I think I was the early riser, and here I'm about to disturb the kids. They're probably sleeping. Yeah, so all 5 of us in the tent. Yeah, here's the elk and the horses I was talking about. They come right to the campsites, which is pretty cool. Kind of reminds me of Assateague in Maryland, where they were coming up to you. Look at Kaylee just woken up, looking at the horses.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome to just have them
Grand Canyon's
rambling around your campsite.
General store has restaurants, lodges, and even cooler restaurants elsewhere.
Yeah, Grand Canyon had a great food cafeteria and little supermarket. You can pick up some necessities and so forth. They really had great accommodations. And for those who don't want to camp, they have great hotels and lodges there as well. And a really good shuttle service throughout the park.
Yeah, so you can see this is in the actual national park. They're a fully outfitted grocery store. I think it was a little expensive, but it's not crazy. You could do your grocery shopping there if you wanted to. I think it would be cheaper outside the park, but still not crazy. They even have liquor there, which is unusual for national parks. Yeah, so I think this is what I got for breakfast, which was just, there's some prices. So nothing crazy. I think it was $10 for breakfast. I got eggs, I got bagels.
Get ready to start cooking breakfast. Alvin's ready to eat. Here's our cookware stuff. Bought most of this at Walmart. Although I did bring this from home and this from home. We did buy this. It was a little too heavy. We thought to bring on the plane. $17 at Walmart. A little better version. Fire starters I think were like $5. This was $1 for tongs. I think also $4 for the oven mitt. Oil was like $2. Got some paper plates, some forks, and some napkins. We should be all set. So I'm gonna get this thing hot. Then I'm gonna put some oil on it. Start grilling some eggs.
Yeah, there the boys are up, looking at the horses. I thought we had an elk. Maybe it'll come out later. I'm forgetting when that happened. Again, this trip was like a year ago, so yeah. And I think it was pretty cool. So this is May time frame, so not summer yet. There I'm dressing the pan, get it nice and oiled for cooking up some eggs.
Yeah, we like to make a lot of our meals over the fire. It's fun, it's just a part of camping, and it also keeps things economical for a family. When you're traveling, to not have to go to restaurants all the time. And you can really enjoy more time in the park when you're eating at your campsite versus going out and trying to find places to eat.
Yeah, especially a lot of these national parks, like Grand Canyons, you can find anything nearby, but a lot of the national parks are in pretty like not rural, but yeah, like they're pretty kind of on their own, so it's hard to remote areas. So even like grocery stores, you might have to drive 30 minutes to kind of get to one from a national park. There's that elk. That's the one I was talking about. Yeah, so after breakfast, I think we went to rent bicycles. We had never done this. We had gone to the Grand Canyons once before kids. And we heard about the bikes, and we thought that'd be fun. So we rented them. They're not bad. I think it was like $10 an hour or something. Okay, we spent $53 for 2 bikes and a kid's bike and a trailer.
And that is a really awesome biking trail to do. I do suggest if you have small children, just be mindful the trail does follow the rim. At some points you get sort of close to it, but as long as you stay on the pavement, you'll be fine.
You can see Kaylee sleeping back there, and I think Alvin's next to him.
But it was a great trail to bike. If you love bike riding, this is a pretty awesome experience because all along the trail, you're getting amazing views.
Right. And I don't think it was very hilly or anything like that. You're kind of on a flat plateau at the Grand Canyon. And so there's our 6-year-old kind of riding on his own. Yeah, definitely recommend. It's a great way to see the park rather than taking the shuttles or things. And I think we were there kind of at the heat of COVID when the shuttles weren't really operating as frequently as they normally do. So that's why the bikes turned out to be a great way to see the park. And I'd do it again for sure. Yeah, so there's and I like that they give you the trailers too. So it's definitely doable with the kids. That was a quick flick of the Junior Ranger program. Definitely recommend if you have kids to sign up for the Junior Ranger program. Our kids got 10 different Junior Ranger badges and loved them.
From all the different parks we go to, every national park has its own Junior Ranger program with a pamphlet they'll give the kids, and they can fill out facts about the park that they see, the wildlife or the formations there, and then at the end of it they turn it back in and they can earn a ranger badge.
Right. Yeah, I did want to go back and just say that was the Angel Bright Trail, the most popular trail in the Grand Canyons. Back when we went, was that 2012 we went to the Grand Canyons? We had a really good time there. So this was our road trip to Mesa Verde, and this is our camp. It was a KOA campground. I think the only private campground we stayed in was the KOA in Mesa Verde. We got there really late as well. That was a long drive from the Grand Canyon.
That was a cold night. It went down to 32.
Yeah.
It was hot in the daytime and really cold at night.
Yeah.
That was another interesting realization on this trip was when you're in more of these desert climates, the temperatures don't hold. So what they are during the day is not what they'll be at night. So you have to be prepared for really hot days and really cold nights.
Yeah, you can see the kids all kind of huddled into their sleeping bags, wearing their jackets. Yeah, it got really cold that night, that morning. And I think, it was so cold we were like, let's just go to Denny's and eat some, warm up.
No cooking on the stove.
And I think Kaylee, we had her in that little pop-up tent, but it was so cold, we just brought her in to our sleeping bag with us.
Yeah, so definitely pack some nice packable down jackets if you're going to do an adventure like this. Something light, but something that'll still keep you warm.
Today, we got to make our way over to Mesa Verde and then to Moab.
Yep, so we were so glad to get to this warm, nice Denny's. I don't think we even, did we eat dinner? Yeah, anyway, it was a good time. Oh man, this leg of the journey, Mesa Verde to Moab, was so pretty. That was a really nice drive. And this is, we got to Moab, and then we saw some of this cool stuff. They have all these off-wheelers, off-road vehicles going up different things. It was kind of cool to see. I don't know, probably something else. Yeah, so pretty cheap so this is the Sand Flats, and we actually didn't have...
Just arrived at Sand Flats Recreational Area. Got our camping tag, so it's first come, first serve. So you just claim an area, place your tag at a campsite. We got this guy right behind the rocks. Campsite B.
Yeah,
haven't seen them
unfortunately
yet.
for Moab,
Have
you
you
can't
seen them,
really make
Mama?
reservations, or at least at the Sand Flats National Recreation Area, you can't make reservations. You have to show up first come first serve, and so we had to just risk us going there and doing that. And yeah, we lucked out. And there's actually a ton of sites. I think like hundreds, or at least 100 sites. So you don't have to worry too much. Yeah, so we got really good at setting up tents after after a while, breaking down, putting up. Yeah, we did that a lot of times, so we got pretty good.
Alright, so now that we got the tent set up, this is where we've been keeping all our stuff in. So we got a double sleeping bag, which we don't unroll, but it's pretty much just 2 sleeping bags that zip together. We've had this for like 5 or 6 years. Not really backpacking rated or anything, but when you keep bodies, it's warm enough. We have this nice pop-up bassinet for Kaylee. Pops up like that. And that's for her. Has a nice underpad with it. Bought this fleece $6 thing at Walmart on our way up. And once we arrived, got this from Amazon, sleeping bag for Alvin's been using it. Another sleeping bag for Kaylee, for her to go into inside the bassinet. And then we got one blow-up mat, ground mat. Got a second. Got an air pillow. Got a third ground mat. Headlamps in here. Another pillow, air pillow, and then another sleeping bag here for Vela. And that's kind of everything. I've got some dollies. Other than that, that's our setup here.
I told the kids that in 5 years we're gonna come back here, and I think they're gonna hold me to it, and I'm excited to do it too. There's so many like different adventures I would have loved to have taken. I mean, I think the kids were just a little too young, so we just kind of stuck to hiking, which is great too. But yeah, like I can't wait till we can go mountain biking, doing that off-road stuff. So in 5 years we're coming back. 4 years now, we're coming back and we're gonna do it. This place was great, man. The burgers were so good. It was called like Milts. They always had a big line there. A lot of people always there.
Great milkshakes too.
It was really good. So I don't know if this was a COVID thing or what, but we tried going to Arches a couple times, and every time we went, there was this huge line. So finally, we just waited and got in. It took, I don't know, what were we waiting? 30, 40 minutes?
At least that. It could have been even longer. I don't know. You just kind of gotta get in queue and wait to get into the park.
Right. So we did the hike to Delicate Arch, and that was a really cool hike.
It was.
It was a little tough, not crazy, but a lot of uphills and stuff. But no, it was nice.
Yeah, and it was very rewarding when you got to the top and you got to see this incredible arch called Delicate Arch.
And it's in a cool location. It's like in a bowl and stuff. And yeah, look at this. Like a lot of the hike there though is pretty spectacular too. But yeah, it's such a foreign environment. Definitely recommend that hike. But Arches in general is really a cool. We did a couple hikes there, and every hike was very
memorable.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, so you could just drive to that point and see it from far away, but I would definitely, if you have the legs for it, definitely do the hike, because like to be right there in person is awesome.
You're right. You don't want to be scared of heights though. Part of that trail is quite along a ledge, and got to be prepared for that.
Right. So all these national parks, I do recommend if you're going to do this national park tour, for $80 you can get the, Gateway National Park card, and you go to any national park for an entire year. So instead of paying, $10, $20 to get into each park, you just pay the one-time $80 fee, and you can go to every single park for an entire year.
Right, and if you're going to do a multi-park trip like this, it's well worth it for you.
Yeah, so this was another hike within Arches National Park. No one was on this one, so I think Delicate Arch is definitely the premier one. And this was also kind of towards the end of the day, but
this was an easier hike, not really so much uphill. It's sort of a flat hike in, maybe about, what would you say, a quarter mile to half a mile to reach these arches.
Right, and I think this was stroller friendly too. I think this was called like the Devil's Playground or something like that.
Yeah, definitely good if you have a stroller.
Yeah. Yep, so this was a race to the top. I think I only made it. The kids didn't make it. What was this? Oh yeah, Moab is kind of expensive for dinner, right? or at least everything closed early, so the few things that were open were expensive.
But there are a lot of great food choices in Moab. For whatever you may like, we found the food there was more diverse than a lot of the other places. We had Indian food one night. There's sandwich shops. There's restaurants. Definitely lots of options.
Oh, this was a cool fossil shop right in Moab. Or not fossil, but rock shop. We did end up buying a fossil and a couple of the rocks. Oh, and this, so we left Moab and we went to
Canyonlands.
Actually, Canyonlands is kind of close to Moab.
It
so
is. It's right next to Arches.
Right, so we were still probably camping in Moab in that Sand Flats area, and I think we took a day trip to Canyonlands. Which I think Arches was definitely cooler, so if you had to pick between the two, go to Arches.
Right.
But Canyonlands, I think if you have like an off-road vehicle, there's like some cool off-roading that you can do for like 100 miles or something. But we didn't do that. We did a hike along the rim, which was actually pretty cool, but it was strenuous because it was long.
We were on the south rim, I believe. I think there's 2 points of entry to Canyonlands. We picked the entrance that was closest to Arches and near downtown Moab. But there are a couple different ways you can access the park and get different vistas.
Yeah, there was a lot of points where, you have to worry for your kids because you have like these sheer cliffs everywhere. And not really much fencing going on, so just be aware of that.
Yeah, hold your kids' hands or have them on a leash or keep them in a carrier. But don't skip it. It's well worth the experience.
Yeah.
Alvin, stay back.
I think I chickened out here. I wanted to go to that rock, but I didn't make it. Yeah, the boys were troopers. They hiked the whole thing, I think. The only time... We never carried them. We only carried Kaylee, because she was 1. But yeah, the 4 and 6-year-old did all these hikes. Oh, this place was cool, and this isn't a national park or anything. I think it's just like a local park. I'm forgetting what it's called, but I'll put it in the show notes for sure. It's in Moab, and yeah, we saw petroglyphs. We walked up a creek. There was like a waterfall, swimming holes. This place is definitely worth checking out. It's Mill something, Mill Waterfall or something, Mill Park. Anyway, I'll look it up and I'll let you guys know where it was. Yeah, and I'll have the map and everything in the show notes that I showed, even our itinerary. I'll try to have that for you guys too. So there's those petroglyphs I was talking about, and they're kind of just there. And what does Alvin always call them? Ancient writings. Look, ancient writings. So now even when we're just exploring around our house in New Jersey, he's like, hey, look, this looks like ancient writings.
Ooh, very nice.
Yeah, this is that swimming hole. I mean, I think it was a little cooler while we were there, but I think people do go swimming there.
We found an interesting cave while we were out there, too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, let's see. Okay, here we are. Bad omen. Bad omen. So there's the entrance to the cave. We gotta cross this creek. Got some scared little ones. They might be orphans soon. We'll see what's in the cave. What do you think, Kaylee? You scared? You scared of what's in that cave? Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. What do you think, Kaylee? What do you think? Are you scared? You're scared. Oh! Oh! What do you think, Valen? Can we do it? Can we do it? Come on, let's go. Let's go, Kaylee. Let's see this cave. Whoa. What do you think? You're bored, huh? Loo-la-loo-la-loo! Ah-woo! Katie's getting happy. Okay. Dun 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 dun. Ah! Just kidding. Not scary. And you guys were scared.
So after a fun day of hiking, we went back and roasted some marshmallows, had dinner over the fire to close off our day at Sand Flats in Moab. Here's breakfast the next morning. Up bright and early, tater tots, ate a lot of those on our trip, and beans.
I guess that's the thing about camping, you know, the sunlight comes in and there's no blocking it when you're in a tent. Oh, this was a cool park. Yeah, right before we left the Moab area, we stopped at the Moab Rotary Park. I don't know.
Great playground, had some really cool musical, a whole musical playground that the kids enjoyed with all sorts of different musical instruments.
Definitely recommend checking that music, and it inspired me. Like when I saw that, I was like, I can create a lot of these things and bring them back home. And I think that also inspired the tall swing. So I built a tall swing after this, I think.
Here's the music playground we're talking about. Mm-hmm. Lots of xylophone type things.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like it, at this extensive and natural.
So after we left Moab, we headed to Goblin Valley. Here we are in the Goblin Valley Campground. A lot more rustic here. They do have pretty nice bathrooms with showers, but there isn't a lot of food to be had in this area. So if you are going to come out to Goblin Valley, make sure you bring provisions with you. It's a pretty far drive in any direction to get supplies and provisions.
So this is actually a state park, and what we found is the state parks are better amenities than the national parks.
In terms of like facilities, like their bathrooms and showers are a lot better.
Find any? Any fool's gold? Nothing?
We did find any.
Okay.
I think we got burritos and tacos. Oh, we have to drive. Okay, Goblin Valley is far from anything.
Yep, you have to drive at least 35, or was it an hour?
I think it was an hour.
It was an hour in
really
either direction to get to a very small town with very limited provisions.
Right. Oh, this was next to Goblin Valley. There was a turn off right before you turn into Goblin Valley. What was it called?
Crazy Horse?
Crazy Horse.
Slot Canyon?
Yeah, the Slot Canyon. We love the Slot Canyon. So this was one of the Slot Canyons. And the Slot Canyon is just so cool where you're just, going through a Slot Canyon. You just have to worry about rain and flash flooding that can occur even from miles away. If it's raining, it can pour into there. So just be wary of that.
It's a very desert environment. Again, really, really hot in the day. You're looking at 90 degree, 100 degree days. Mm-hmm. Scorching heat, no shade, and then the evenings drops down to 40s and 30 degrees.
And just dusty everywhere. Our kids were constantly covered in dust, sleeping in the sleeping bags in dust, making dust angels in the dust. Everything was just dusty. It made us this trip made us really appreciate New Jersey, the lushness, the lakes, the rivers, the trees. We really came back and we're like, wow, New Jersey actually has something going for it.
But you gotta admit, these slot canyons are pretty awesome. They were memorable. They were so much fun to run through and explore. We had a blast going through the slot canyons. Highly recommend taking a hike through a slot canyon if you're in the area.
Yeah.
It's definitely a no man's land. They say that Butch Cassidy used to hide out in these canyons because literally nobody goes out here. And it's very hard to just navigate through the crazy rock formations. They're pretty impressive. You got these flowing canyons with all these little slots you can run through. You got really cool goblin-looking rock formations. Very unique landscape.
Yeah, I think the slot canyons were probably our favorite hikes, the most unique at least. Mm-hmm. You won't find anything like that on the East Coast. So definitely what we were searching for in our trip here.
Okay, this is
maybe that'll be our cover photo.
Yeah, all the rock is very smooth. It's this kind of a clay sandstone formation. Pretty amazing.
Yeah, but the kids had fun with these. Honestly, I think they really just enjoyed the foreign landscape that the West Coast had to offer, or at least the Utah area had to offer. And they were just having a blast the whole time. In a second, you're going to see some clips of RVs just kind of off the road. And that's in the Bureau of Land Management area. They call them BLM lands. and you can just camp there. You don't need reservations, you don't need permits. BLM land is just first come, first serve. You just pick up a spot and just start camping, which we didn't really know about until we got there, but there's BLM land everywhere.
Which is a great option if you find that the national parks are fully booked. A lot of times it's hard to get sites in them. If you can't get a site, this is always an option.
Yeah.
Up the waters.
Definitely recommend bringing a lot of gallons with you. It's very dry. We drank a lot. And all the national parks, right, had water? I think so. And especially the state parks definitely had it. Goblin Valley is pretty cool. They have these weird formations. I guess they call them goblins. And yeah, kids love climbing on them, just looking at them.
Yeah, here they are. It's pretty impressive. A site like no other.
Yeah, definitely a cool place to check out. And what would you say? Probably like, I don't know, 10 acres of this stuff?
Probably. It's a very large field.
It would be a fun place to play like hide and seek or manhunt or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, look at that. Pretty cool place.
Yeah, hold on.
Hot though. I remember being very hot.
Yeah, and we were doing this in the late afternoon. I think it was like around 4 p.m. when we were out there. Definitely wasn't even conceivable around noon. It was too hot.
And this was in May.
Mm-hmm. So here we are. We've moved to Capitol Reef. Capitol Reef is a really neat little national park.
It's a very different national park.
It's a pioneer settlement, and they actually have a fruit orchard, and they're known for their fruit trees and homemade apple pies and ice cream you can buy in the park, which is a pretty cool, unique experience. So it's really cool to see how they formed this little settlement and made their main source of income off the fruit trees.
Yeah, so this was the Capitol Gorge Trail. I think we were quite disappointed with this hike. It was supposed to end in this climactic bowls. It was supposed to have a lot of like wildlife in it, shrimp and things. But I don't know.
I think they were kind of dried out when we were there.
Yeah, I'm looking at this footage and it looked kind of cool, but I remember being there and being kind of like unimpressed. And I think just because we had been doing so many cool hikes and we were probably just tired.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing. You go to all these parks in quick succession, you can't help but to compare them, and certain ones had more impressive vistas. But Capitol Reef really was beautiful.
You liked it a lot.
I
was
did.
okay with it.
It's like a little oasis in the middle of the desert.
Yeah, these deer were cool. They're very tame and they're just around. And yeah, the fruit trees were cool. The fruit pies were cool.
They have a little museum shop you can go in and see how they used to. It was like the old country store that they had there.
A lot of mornings like this.
Yeah, it was a pretty relaxed national park, I felt.
Mm-hmm.
It was a break in our agenda.
Yeah, and maybe
Cooking with your cast iron grill, cast iron pan, and you try to get as much of the junk off as you can. Pour some water on it, and use that steam to really clean it up. I'm gonna get it hot again, and then I'm gonna put some oil on it. Now that it's good and hot, pan. Just put some oil. Just a little bit. And just put that oil. Get all over it. There you go. Good as new. Non-stick surface. Ready for lunch.
So here's a few of the relics from the settlement in the area there. There's some great photo ops. Here's a great little hike that takes you past some petroglyphs.
those petroglyphs are hard to see. They did provide like binoculars that you can use that were kind of fixed in place, but still, it was hard to see them.
They were hard to spot, right? But cool vistas. They had this great river running through.
That river was cool.
One of the nice things about Capitol Reef is about 20 minutes outside the park. They have a wonderful little town, like a little country town, and there's a great country store and souvenir shops. It's a laundromat, some little motels. A great little area if you want to go pick up provisions and food or even get a bite to eat at the burger shop down there. So there's some nice provisions in this area.
This was actually a pretty cool hike, I think. I forget which hike it was, but it was one of the main hikes. So I think it was pretty cool.
What do you think you're doing?
Yeah, it was definitely one of those vistas that you look at and you're like, I've seen this in a calendar.
Napping. I remember napping being a challenge on this trip because Kaylee was still, 1.5 or something. So she was taking, I think, twice a day naps. So I think we were trying to time our car rides for nap time. But also, I guess some of these hikes she was napping.
So here's the return back down the path we just saw, back to parking.
Yeah, and we were like, we saw that river and we're like, we need to go swimming. So we drove like outside the park and just bushwhacked our way to the creek and just enjoyed ourselves. Because, yeah, there's so little swimming in Utah, at least at that part of Utah.
And it's so hot.
Yeah, it was so hot. We were like, we need to jump into something. That deer's like, can I eat, Kaylee? Curry pizza.
Curry pizza. Here's a unique experience when you're out there. It's a fusion of pizza and curry.
Oh, these are so cool to see, these sheep herders. Oh, that curry pizza was no good, by the way. Although it was very well rated, so maybe it's got a bad day. That was cool. I never seen that before. Where was this? This was on our way to Kodachrome?
Yeah, I think it was back from the pizza place back to Kodachrome. Capitol Reef, not Kodachrome.
Okay.
Capitol Reef.
We had just seen Babe, so that's why the kids were saying Baram you. Oh, this is a good way to fire up corn. I did find out, actually, you don't even need to wrap it in aluminum foil unless you're putting it directly in the fire. You can just put the husk in and it'll just steam it real good. This is how I usually open up my cans of beans with just a knife because I don't bring a can opener most times. And I, leave the lid a little bit on there, just enough to pivot on that little hinge. And yeah, just place it on the fire, let it get hot. And I guess this was lunch, huh? Beans, or maybe breakfast. What is that?
Something. Leftover breakfast.
Yeah. Yeah, after that experience, oh yeah, where was this? Yeah, there was this snow in May. Yeah, so I don't know, we stopped at a lot of cool places. The drive from Capitol Reef to wherever we went next, I think it was Kodachrome, was pretty, yeah, this was a pretty drive. Not much along the way, a few stores, but just really beautiful vistas all along that journey that we really enjoyed looking at. I don't know, these videos don't do it justice. It's really magnificent. You can hear, we're listening to Boxcar Children. We listen to a lot of Boxcar Children on our audio book for the journey.
You ready, Kaylee Cake? So now you're drinking, huh?
Okay, so I just want to take a quick minute to explain our hiking gear. Because a lot of people always ask about hiking with kids and stuff. The older two, 4 and 6 year old, pretty much are on their own, hiking around. Every once in a while, on a really hard carry, we'll give them like a piggyback or something. But for the most part, they're on their own. For water, we don't give them individual bottles. All we have is this Camelback that Sunry's wearing, and they all love drinking from this little bite valve. Even the baby, Kaylee loves it. She's like the water mafia. Anyone starts drinking, she goes, give me that. So that's kind of our setup. So it's pretty minimalist. We do bring snacks, usually like some kind of chips. I think today we have applesauce pouches, which is unusual. But yeah, just enough to carry a little bit. And that carries almost a gallon of water, 3 liters. Gallon's 3.7 liters. It's a little less. And then for Kaylee, you can see here, let's see. She's on the pouch. And this is just an Ergo baby carrier. We've never had one of those like Osprey backpacks or anything like that. It's always just been this Ergo carrier, so it's pretty worn out because all 3 kids went through that. But once they're 2 or maybe more like 3, they're pretty much hiking on their own. You can see Valen over there hopping around. But yeah, anything else to add about hiking with kids, Sunmarie?
No, I think the earlier you get them used to hiking on short little hikes, the more up they are for longer ones down the road.
Yeah. Yes, that's it.
Yeah, I think we didn't end up doing.
Scared of some cold water?
This is uncharacteristic of Valen. Anyway, I guess he ended up doing it with some encouragement.
It was very icy cold.
It was.
For where it was very cold water.
Yeah.
This is a Calf Creek hiking and recreation area. It looked like a beautiful spot. We just didn't have the time to really explore it. I think it was like a 6-mile hike.
Yeah, we really wanted to do it, but I think Kaylee was very tired, so we were like, let's just keep driving to our next destination. We didn't want to arrive at night again, and yeah, I don't think we had much time, right? We only spent one night at Kodachrome, and we really wanted to explore it, so we decided to hit the road. Oh, no, and then we saw another turnoff, so we took this road. We took this dirt road on it before going to Kodachrome, and I think we were on it for like a good 5 miles or so. We saw these really cool rocks, or what are these naturally occurring stone things? I forget what they are.
Gnocchi balls.
Gnocchi balls, but they're like iron, right? That come out of the stone. It's crazy.
But yeah, we just drove 10 miles out on the dirt path. The only one's here for miles. Right, Keely? Thank you. And Bailey, off in the distance there. Yeah. Spectacular. Right, Keely? Spectacular. She's shielding from the wind.
See this one? It's stuck in there. And that one too. And they all collect down there.
So then we finally got to our campsite at Kodachrome, and the kids play with the little water that's there.
Making mud pies.
Oh man, look how dirty Kaylee is. Oh. This really bothers me. Sunri does better than like this dirty children than I do. I do not like it.
Mud and traveling with kids, it's bound to happen.
Yeah, this was
Natural
Kodachrome.
rubbish.
Kodachrome actually was a little disappointing for me. I did not like it as nearly as much as I thought I was going to like it.
It is beautiful,
It
though.
is.
You have multicolored mountains here, hence the name Kodachrome.
And they have these like natural towers. What do they call those things?
Hoodoos?
Hoodoos. They have hoodoos. This was kind of cool. Oh, and you see wild cattle around, which was kind of cool.
Kodachrome's really pretty, especially at sunset and sunrise, seeing the colors hitting the mountains. So I highly recommend doing hikes at that time of day.
Where was this?
Is this to Bryce?
Oh, no. This was outside of Kodachrome.
Nah.
Kodachrome did have, you had to go a little bit, maybe 15 minutes out of Kodachrome, but they had like nice restaurants, good shopping. Oh man, the ribs. Valen still talks about these ribs at Showdown Restaurant. Definitely recommend Showdown. Live music. Oh yeah, so we ate, we came back to Kodachrome, and we did a nice hike. This was a nice hike.
So Kodachrome is a state park, not a national park, but it is a great location midway when you're going from Capitol Reef to Bryce Canyon. So for us, it was a good stopping point to camp for a night and explore the environs.
Right. I actually woke up really early, ran over to Bryce Canyon, because they also, if you don't reserve, 14 days in advance, then you have to do first come, first serve. So that's what I did. I got there really early, like 7 a.m. or 6 a.m. or something, and paid and reserved my camping spot. So you just drive around, you look for an empty spot, and you put your paid tag right on one of the sites. But the sites are separated by RV sites, tent sites, so just make note of that. But yeah, I got there at like 7 a.m. and there was plenty of spots at that time. But they filled up quick. Like after an hour of me being there, there was already like a ton of different sites filling up.
And keep in mind, this is May. It's not height of the season yet. So if you're going, depending on the time of year, it can be really competitive to get these sites.
Right. So yeah, there's the $40 I guess it cost for the 2 nights we were there. You put your tag up saying that you paid and that's your site, and then you put your money in the envelope at the entrance. But yeah, there's all the empty sites. 9:38, so I guess I got there a little later. But yeah, by the time we had come back, most of the sites were taken. But yeah, first come, first serve at Bryce Canyon.
Here we are back at Kodachrome. This is our campsite there.
Next Sunday we had made breakfast while I was gone. Hot Pockets.
I set the fire myself. I was pretty impressed. Usually I never have anything to do with that.
And we did one last hike on Kodachrome with our buddies that we met.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there's a hoodoo. Oh, and there's horses. Yeah, the horses would have been cool to do. Like if our kids were of age.
I think the kids have to be at least 7, or maybe it was
Something like
8,
that.
in order to ride one of the pack ponies.
Scary, huh?
So our kids were too young, but if your kids are older, it seemed like a really awesome experience.
Yeah. This was a cool hike, though. So we left Kodachrome, and then we went here, which was another slot canyon. What was it called? I'm forgetting. There it is. Grand Staircase Escalante, Willis Creek, which was a slot canyon.
It has a little creek that runs through it, which is kind of neat. You can follow the water.
Yeah. A lot of these slot canyons have registration, so like you can write your name, say when you enter the creek. So if there was like a flash flood that just happened to come, the rescuers can check you out. So definitely write your name on there.
This is a nice flat hike. It's pretty easy going. You're not scaling a lot of rocks. So we enjoyed it.
Yeah, this was cool if I remember correctly.
I think you would want to wear water shoes. You don't have to go in water in all the places, but definitely certain places are more accessible if you don't mind getting your feet wet.
Yeah. I think we did like the other slot canyon more, but this was cool. Yeah, these slot canyons are spectacular. Definitely what I was really looking forward to when I was thinking about this adventure, going on, the grand, I'm forgetting what this thing is called, the grand
Circle tour.
circle tour, and seeing these slot canyons. Yeah, there was a couple of slot canyons we skipped, just because there was so many miles of driving. If you do everything,
cool?
you really have to drive so much, so we couldn't do everything, but yeah.
Yeah, this one's nice because it's a little bit wider, and as you can see, the ground is very... I mean, there's rocks, but it's pretty flat.
What was that?
We cut that
I
out.
don't think we're.
Oh, so this is Bryce Canyon. So we finally got to Bryce Canyon. Corn dogs for dinner, I guess. And we got chicken. Oh, this is pine henge. There's so many pine needles everywhere.
Our kids were inspired by Stonehenge, so they decided to build Pinehenge, all these mounds of pine needles.
Yeah, and I think their friends ended up helping them towards the end. Oh, what was that? That was like a little frog they found?
Toad.
Oh no, it was like a lizard, like a baby little lizard.
Alright, let him go. Let him go. He's so small.
Go hide, little buddy.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is also Bryce. This was another hike we did. We didn't like this hike as much. We really liked, what was it? Queen something. It's the famous hike there at Bryce. That was a good one. But yeah, this Bristle Loop Trail was kind of boring. It was okay. But yeah, they had like some really cool orange rocks.
Whoa, it's gigantic.
Yeah, this one you can drive to. And yeah, Bryce also had a lot of good amenities. They have their own restaurants. Yeah, there's some of the prices.
One of the things we were surprised by actually at these national parks is a lot of times you have to pay for showers. You have to pay for showers
Right.
at Bryce Canyon.
Yeah, so this is a general store where they have laundromat and showers, and I think, what is it? Like
$2 a shower? $2.50?
Maybe it was
Maybe it was
more,
$4.
would
I
say.
forget. Anyway, you don't want to take more than an 8-minute shower because that's all your admission gets you.
Yeah. Bryce, the general store is a little more low or
Didn't have so many supplies.
right. I mean, it has
It was
your,
a bit
your-
pricey,
It
but
was.
you know, you can get by, but there isn't a whole lot of options.
Yeah. Did we end up taking a shower? I forget. I don't think I did. Maybe you did. Yeah, but here's a quick view of what the showers look like.
It's a bath.
And what they do have like a, I forget. I
You
think
have to
this-
buy a coin, like a token, at the counter in the gift shop.
I think I was insulted by the fact that you paid $8 for a shower, so I didn't take it.
It's gonna be hard.
Yeah, this was one of our favorite hikes of the entire trip, right? This
Yep. Queen's Path, I think it was
Might
called.
have been Queen's Path, yeah. I don't know what about it was so cool, but definitely was very
The
cool.
colors, the rock formations, the vistas. It was just so beautiful.
Yeah, and there was
And you get down
switchbacks.
and there's a, what do they call it? Thor's hammer? Is that what the famous rock formation was there?
But that tunnel is cool.
We're on Queens. What is it? Queens
See, I don't even remember
Queens
this
Trail.
Queens
I got a
Trail.
little Queen Kaylee here, waving like a queen to all the passerbys.
And again, Bryce Canyon loves their hoodoos. Hoodoos are
Hoodoos.
these tall rock formations that stick up into the sky. And with their junior ranger program, they have a hunt for the hoodoos. And if the
Right.
kids find them in the park, they can, you know, get a badge for spotting them. It keeps the kids entertained when they're on these hikes.
Yeah, and it's a good educational thing because these workbooks. So you do have to complete a workbook before they give you a junior ranger badge. But it's good. It's educational, and yeah, it keeps the kids like wanting to hike. Actually, that was a big motivator for the kids doing these hikes because they wanted to get their badges, and to get to the badges, they need to do a lot of the.
They had to check off certain things in their booklets, which you can
Okay.
only do at certain points on the hike.
Yeah. So I feel like our kids are like above average hikers in general, but it definitely helped, especially with these longer hikes, to have that encouragement of do this and you can get a badge.
Yeah, they're kind of like arches.
Yeah, and if you hit these 3 plaques on the hikes and you took a rubbing of them with a crayon on your book, you could earn a free gift in the gift shop. And we didn't know what the gift was. It ended up being a sticker. But it was pretty exciting to work up for the free gift.
Our kids, just like us, love free stuff. This was cool. Look at those
What'd you think of
switchbacks. It's
Valen?
crazy looking. Yeah, I think Valen was pretty done. I think we were all pretty done after that.
It was a long, strenuous hike,
It
but
was.
definitely well worth it.
What was it, like 5 miles? Or
I think so.
It was
Took a
significant.
long time. And it's a steep down into the valley and a steep climb back out.
Oh, these. What was that?
Prairie
dog.
dogs. They got prairie dogs out there. We love prairie dogs.
We didn't see too many of them.
No. Here's another great rock shop and gift shop
Right
outside
outside
of
of
Bryce.
And they have a great buffet. We went to that
Mm-hmm.
buffet. It's pricey, but it was really good.
All you can eat. I think it was around, what, $25 a person?
Something like that.
Yeah.
But it was really good.
The gifts in the gift shop were all very reasonably
Yeah,
priced,
I
we
was
thought.
impressed. They were pretty cheap. Yeah, Bryce was a great national park. We really liked it. Yeah, there's the buffet. How much is it? I don't know. I'm sure I'll show you. I'm always talking about prices. But yeah, there's a look at the buffet. They had a lot of selections and everything was made very well. I was impressed.
It was a good meal after roughing it with baked beans and
Mm-hmm.
hash browns for 2 weeks.
Yeah, I remember that meal. It was good. And then, I think we went back to the campground. Guess we're getting ready to pack out for our
Very
next-
windy at Bryce, so definitely have your windbreakers and jackets.
Yeah, we're gonna go next. Let's wait a minute here.
So this was us getting ready to leave Bryce, and we
What was this
stopped-
one called? Emerald Pools?
No, it was like mossy something.
Oh, yeah. Moss Cavern, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Kids, we made some friends with some other families, and we did a hike here, and we had a good time in the creek, and got to throw the disc around since everyone ended up being ultimate frisbee players somehow.
Yeah, that was fun. Fun time. And lasting friendships.
Yep. Yeah, it's cool to see adventurous children all playing together. Yeah, but then we had to make our way out. We said goodbye to our friends, got some BBQ. I don't think this was too memorable, so I'm not going to mention where that was. And then where did we go? After Bryce, was on our way to Zion. Zion was a good ending point, I think. Zion was pretty impressive, but it also was the most
problematic
crowded.
For trying to get around throughout Zion.
Right, especially because of COVID. The shuttles were weird. You had to book the shuttles online, do a reservation.
And there wasn't good Wi-Fi reception.
Yeah, cell phone reception. And a lot of these parks wasn't great, but especially Zion was terrible. So they do have a bike rental right outside of the park, which was pretty good, but it's very hilly in Zion. So, whoa, what's this? I forget this.
Ants.
Humongo colony.
This is the campground in Zion, which we stayed in. I think we had reserved this a couple months in advance.
Oh, look at the boys.
Making sand angels again. So they can get in their sleeping bags and be all sandy and rub it around everywhere.
Sand and dust is a way of life out here.
Yeah, they didn't want anyone swimming in the creek because they said there's harmful algae or whatever. So this is the shuttles, and they check to make sure they have a permit to get onto the shuttle buses, which was very annoying.
It was very hard to get. For most of the stay, we couldn't really access the shuttles. I think we took one shuttle ride. So we did a lot of walking, and we also rented the bikes for a few days.
Right. Hopefully they change that with COVID going away, but yeah, I think you have to either reserve them 2 weeks in advance or the night before, at 3 p.m. after or something.
I highly recommend renting an e-bike over a manual bike in Zion because it is very hilly.
Right. Yeah. So we did end up, because we couldn't rent an e-bike because they were all taken and just super expensive.
Also, they wouldn't let you put a trailer on an e-bike.
That's right.
So we had to take a manual bike, and we did the 9 miles up to the Narrows on the bicycle pulling the trailers. Here we are doing that here.
Summer was pregnant and not very happy.
It was an uphill climb, those 9 miles.
Especially when the e-bikers were like, "Wee, this is so fun!" And Summer's like, "I'm gonna kill you."
I wanted to be on an e-bike so bad.
Yeah.
But we got there.
And it was pretty. It's a pretty ride.
It is.
The way back was pretty much downhill, so that was nice. Yeah, and I let you take Kaylee, and I had the 2 boys with me.
Definitely a good workout. Very scenic, very beautiful. All of Zion is so beautiful to see. Biking is nice. If you can take a shuttle, though, and you're going all the way to the Narrows, I recommend a shuttle. It's quite far.
Just so dirty. Yeah, so this is the Narrows entrance, I believe. We did Narrows on the first day, and I think that was we did a couple other hikes, but that was the major one we did.
A popular thing to do for the Narrows hike is you can rent hiking waterproof or canyoneering shoes and walking sticks. A lot of people do opt to do that. We didn't. We wore our own
water shoes. Yeah.
But you can rent that equipment.
I feel like it's a little overkill, this canyoneering shoes, which are waterproof hiking shoes. They did have a good general store at Zion, so we picked up some food there for the hike.
Here we are starting out at the entrance of Narrows. Even just a little footpath leading to the place where you start entering the river is quite beautiful. So if you can't do the actual hike in the water, definitely take the footpath. It's beautiful, it's flat, and it's I believe it was stroller accessible.
Yeah, I forget. I think it did. Wow, look at that squirrel.
The squirrels are really not timid at a lot of these national parks.
Especially Grand Canyons. They will come right up to you. Yeah, so be careful of those squirrels. It takes you a while to get into the part of the Narrows that you always see pictures of, people walking into the river. So this is it. This is the entrance. But I think it's a mile in or something.
Or at least half a mile.
I was surprised how long it took us to get there. But it's cool. The kids had fun. Valen got a little wet, so the water is cold in there. So I think he got pretty cold. But Yeah, I was surprised. I wasn't sure if we were going to be able to do it with kids because you don't see many videos of kids doing the Narrows.
Even while we were hiking, there weren't many kids there.
Or at least they went like a little bit in, maybe like a half mile in, and then they turned back. But we went pretty far.
Is that cold enough for you, buddy?
Yeah, but I'm glad we did it. It was definitely a memorable thing. So this is probably one of the deeper sections, although we did have to carry the kids at some point, so maybe there are deeper sections. But isn't this so cool? Like you just walking through like this creek, canyon. Yeah, I think Valen got pretty cold and his shirt was wet, so we had him take it off. Yeah, definitely, probably my favorite hike during this whole trip.
It's very rocky, so you want to make sure you're really sure-footed when going through the river, but definitely a great experience.
What else do you think? We're about a half mile into the Narrows. Okay. Alvin, what do you think?
Definitely a great hike to do on a hot weather day.
Yes. Anyway, I'm definitely glad we did it. But yeah, if you were like in August or something, oh, that would be so nice.
Do it again? You want to do it again? Cold? Cold?
Yeah, so like, I guess
How you
here we
doing,
had to carry Alvin. Yeah, I think this got pretty deep, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like waist level.
Also, he didn't want to get wet and be cold.
Mm-hmm. Alvin's very particular. Yeah, Valen did majority of this thing by himself, right? I guess Alvin did too, just to carry him through some of this stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I just kept wanting to go and go and go, but I think at some point we're like, oh, we gotta go back and do the whole thing, so we should turn around. But we went pretty far. I think we went at least 2-3 miles, which, you know, in this rocky, watery, rocky stuff, you're going pretty slow pace, especially with kids.
Ow.
I got all 3 of them.
Yeah, I think we started hiking around noon. If you really want to go the full distance, I recommend starting earlier in the morning. Because probably around 4 p.m. or so, it starts getting really shady in the valley, and then it gets cold because you're in the water.
Yeah. And I'm glad we brought food because we got hungry.
Happy too.
And there's me and Valen in the back. I think. Oh yeah. I guess we didn't get any footage of that. I think this is on our way back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, getting back to the trail.
Starting to get shady here.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're really in the depths of a canyon, so unless it's like, you know, 10 to 2 p.m., you're probably not getting much sunlight down there. And this is so shuttles, everyone's waiting for shuttles. This line is huge. So yeah, I was glad. Oh, there was a turkey. Wild turkeys running around.
There were a lot of wild turkeys.
Was there? I forget.
Remember at the lodge, there's a lodge in Bryce that you can stay at. It is pretty pricey.
Yeah.
But there were a lot of wild turkeys in front of the lodge.
Yeah, we didn't even have to lock our bikes, right? Because I think everyone just left their bikes. It was very windy in Zion.
Yeah, the winds change throughout the day. I think you have to be mindful of that. On our bike ride down, it was so windy. It was actually pretty hard to bike against the wind.
Yeah. Yeah, but Zion's a cool park. I can see why it's so popular. It was, yeah. I feel like, yeah, it was popular. It's also pretty close to Vegas, so I guess that also makes it.
I think it was the busiest of the parks we've been to.
I think so.
Most congested.
Yeah, and I actually woke up early the next day to do Angel's Landing, and that was kind of crazy because you had to wait in line. Apparently now it's a permitted hike. You need a permit to do Angel's Landing. When I did it in 2021, you didn't need a permit for it. But maybe that's a good thing because there were so many scared people who were taking so long and causing congestion because they just didn't want to move because they were too scared. So I think this is by the campground. Oh yeah, and there's a lot of restaurants near Zion, which is also kind of nice. We went to a Thai restaurant.
Thai, Mexican, you name it. They have a lot of great food options.
Yeah. Oh, we finally got to go on a shuttle towards the end of the day when there was no one around. Where did we go on the shuttle? I'm forgetting. Oh, we did one more hike, right, to the Green Meadow pools, which ended up kind of being disappointing that time of year. It just Emerald pools. Yeah.
There wasn't that much water, so they weren't as emeraldy as I think they are supposed to be.
Right. Okay. Yeah, and I was trying to get Wi-Fi at this point to try to reserve the shuttles for the next day, but that didn't end up happening. There's the Emerald pools. Yeah, I think this was a pretty short hike for us.
Bridge. Over the bridge.
Yeah, I mean, it was okay, but I don't think I would necessarily recommend this hike. I mean, I think if the waterfalls had been going, it would have been
It
really
is one of the few stroller-friendly hikes.
Oh, that's true,
So
too.
if you rely on a stroller, you could take part of this hike for that. It's recommended as a family-friendly hike, which it is. But again, we are more of the adventurous type, and we like the more adventurous hikes ourselves.
Yeah, and I think after... So we had done Narrows and then we did this? Seems like a lot.
Yeah, I guess so.
I think we were pretty tired at this point. Yeah, and then we took the shuttle back. S'mores, eh? We did we tried a unique s'more method, baking them. I don't think it turned out very good. It looks good though.
Morning everyone, it's 6:55. I'm running right now from South Campground in Zion to Zion Outfitters, which is only 100 feet or so outside the national park, and maybe like a quarter mile from the South Campground. Running there to get a bike, because I'm going to do a solo hike today. Bike up all the way to Angel's Landing. The grotto is where it starts. That's like the 7th stop, the 8 stops on the trail. And do Angel's Landing from there. So here we go. Let's see if I can get a bike.
Again, bike rentals were first come, first serve, so that's why I had to wait online for it to open, try to get there right away and get a bike reservation, which ended up being no problem.
Yeah, don't forget your annual pass if you have one, or something saying you paid for the park, because you got to go back through that pay center. Anyway, it's only 7:07. Got the bike, so it didn't take less than 10 minutes. You know, that line moved quick. Most of them were for the canyoneering boots. Very small portion for the bike, so I was able to get in and out quick. $40 for the bike rental, because it's a regular bike I got here. So I'm gonna go back, get my Camelback, and then we're gonna get this show on the road. Forgot to buy breakfast at that market store right by the bike rental, so I'm just gonna make myself a quick PB&J. Half for now, one for the road with our leftovers here. Okay, it's 7:20. Just left the campsite, did a quick bathroom break. Now back on the bike. So here we go. Just finishing up the Peruche Trail here and going on the main shuttle road where no private cars can go. Only private cars that can go are the ones that are staying in the lodge. And here we are at the grotto, even closer than I thought. It's only 7:45. So got here in about 25 minutes from the campground. Not too bad. I don't know where to park bikes. I don't know where they're parking. I guess right here. And then we'll start the trail. So this is the grotto, there's bathrooms, there's water. I'm gonna fill up my water bag. And then the hike starts over there across the bridge. Filling up the Camelback. There's the shuttle. Okay, since 2004, 13 people have died at Angel's Landing. So here it is. We're just leaving the grotto, crossing this bridge, and yeah, we're gonna start this trail. Beautiful river. Yeah, I'm excited. So we did this trail yesterday, the Cayente Trail, leads to the Emerald Pools. Yeah, the Emerald Pool is just a mile. So Scouts Lookout, which starts Angel's Landing, is 2 miles, and then the hope to do the last half, which is the Angel's Landing part, is another half mile. So it should be 5 miles round trip. Here we go. So it's currently 8:08. Just did some of these nice switchbacks. Fun. Yeah. There are bathrooms, presumably right at Scouts Landing. What the heck? That's funny.
So this is Scouts Landing, and it's a pretty nice lookout. And a lot of people turn around here, but if you want to do Angel's Landing, I think this is another half mile on this chain rope that you go on. And normally it wouldn't be so bad, but there's so many people, and this is still like 7:45, 8 a.m., something like that. I really probably should have just woken up earlier, but I couldn't because of the bikes. That was the restrictive thing. But yeah, if you can get there earlier, I definitely would recommend it, because you know this is like it's not like 2 lanes. You have 1 lane, 1 chain, and everyone wants to hold the chain because they're scared. And people go down, people go up, and a lot of times you have to wait for people to go down before you can go up, and vice versa. So that was a little bit annoying, and there was a lot of people who were scared, so they would just stay on the line and they wouldn't want to go. Hopefully with the new permit system that's a little better. But definitely, I'm glad I did it. It's a really unique hike, something I've never kind of done before. But it was, yeah, pretty spectacular vistas and views, and yeah. Yeah, so this is about the tip of Angel's Landing that you can get to. Yeah, definitely one of the scarier hikes I've done too. Yeah, and then it was time to go back to the fam jam. Radwagon. We ended up picking up Radwagon
So
after we got back from the
2
trip.
hours and 15 minutes since I left. 10:08, and my bike's still here. Nice.
So the way back's definitely easier. It's all downhill. Way up is definitely an arduous climb.
Okay, 10:30. Just 3.5 hours. Hey, Valen. 3.5 hours since I set off, and I'm back. Hi, Kaylee. Hello.
So this was our last camping day, so we said goodbye to our cooler and our cast iron pan for some other camper to pick up. We turned the bike and went to an all-you-can-eat buffet, and then we went to a hotel the night before we left Las Vegas on an airplane.
Morning, Kaylee.
Yeah, that hotel was luxury after 14 days of tenting, no shower,
Good morning, Kaylee.
pool, and everything.
What you doing in there? You ready to come out? You ready to come out? You have a good sleep. Have a good sleep. You
Yeah.
wake up, boys.
So we need to get everyone up to get to the airport. Flying home. And that was it. That was our trip. Hope you guys enjoyed. Yeah, definitely check out the show notes if you're thinking of a similar trip. Good luck, guys. Godspeed.